In a world of many knives, there's one man who loves knives. The big question has been, where is sales guy? When will he be back to give Justin a brain aneurysm? There's only one thing we can absolutely be certain about.
Hello, welcome to the knife store, where we sell knives.
That's right, he's back.
Hey, what's going on, BCS Army? Justin from Blue Collar Survival, and today I've got a new type of video, and I need you guys' assistance in it, actually. Before I get started, if you're new to my channel and you're looking for that best bang for your buck in the knife and gear world, hit that subscribe button down below. While you're at it, throw me a thumbs up. Alright, so for today's video, I need a name for it. It's just a head-to-head challenge between a couple knives, so I was going to think who'd you rather or something like that, but I need an original name for it. So I'm going to compare a couple knives, and I want to leave out the steel aspect of the knife because I believe that the HRCs and the steel aspect really overshadows a lot of knives, especially right now with it being such a focus point in the knife community. I think a lot of really good designs get overlooked just due to steel. I'm not a steel snob. I do appreciate good steels very much. I love not having to sharpen my knives all the time. But there are some really good designs that have some subpar steels that I really do enjoy. So today that's kind of what we're going to concentrate on that. And I have 7 aspects I'm going to go over for this. So today I'll be doing 2 Spydercos, probably 2 of my more favorite Spydercos. Would be the Manix 2 and the Paramilitary 2. Both are relatively same size. I believe the Manix is right at 8 inches with just under an 8.5 inch blade, or 3.5 inch blade, and this one's just over 8 inches and also just under 3.5 inch blade. And I'll go ahead and get some weights on here real fast. Like I said, I'm not going to go over all the aspects of it. So we got 121 grams and 115. Now this one does have an added back spacer, so you could probably subtract a few grams off of that. Go ahead for the ounces for us in America. 4 ounces and 4.2. Like I said, there's a little weight added due to the Skull Crusher backspacer I have in it. So the first aspect I really want to go over is just going to be aesthetics, just aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Has nothing to do with the design, function, or anything like that. Just basically, is it a nice looking knife? Aesthetics would definitely be, there's a lot of Instagrammers out there that buy knives just to take pictures. So this would be a good category for them. Aesthetically pleasing, I actually awarded the Paramilitary 2. It's just more of a slim, streamlined design, real thin handle, and it flows really well with the blade, how the blade kind of comes down real narrow. So it just flows a little better than the Manix 2. The Manix 2 is a little more of a kind of a clunker, chunky. I mean, it doesn't feel like a clunker in the hand, but it's just a little bit of a chunkier knife. The lines on it just don't quite flow as well as the PM2's does. So I gave the PM2 that. The next one is ergos. So in the hand and everything like that. And I actually awarded the Manix 2. This one is just, to me, is a much more comfortable hand or knife in hand. The ramp's less aggressive going up. It has a nice ramp on it still. The jimping is Spyderco's jimping, but just the way it fits in my hand either way. And there's something about, I don't know, kind of the blockiness on the G10 with how narrow this is a little more uncomfortable on the PM2 to me. So that, and if you really, you're back on it, this can be an issue. It's not as bad as the Shaman because it doesn't have the big cutout, but that kind of can be an issue for a hot spot. So I definitely gave the ergos to the Manix 2. Action, it's a tie. They both have amazing action. Either way, in and out. So it's your basic Spyderco action. So I gave a tie on the action. Next we have lockup. For lockup, we have 2 different styles of lockups here. I have, this one is the ball bearing lockup, and then you have the compression lockup here. I actually gave this to the compression lock. The compression lock is actually a more solid and reliable lockup than the bearing. You'll have more chance of the bearing failing on you than the compression lock. Mainly on use that you would, if let's say Woodland Tactical borrowed your knife, he would baton both of them, and this one would, the lock would fail on this before it would fail on this. So I gave the lock up to the PM2. So far PM2's got 2, we got 1 on the Manix and a tie. Workability, so just having it in your hand and working for long periods of time. I actually gave the Manix 2 the win on this one. It's just a more comfortable knife to hold. The wider handle just makes me feel like I have a hold of something a little more. The more narrow, dainty handle just makes me feel like I got to use more of a grip strength holding on to it. I like just having this with the flare out and everything. It's just better in hand for long-term use. I've done a lot of cardboard cutting with the both of these, and I would much definitely prefer cutting cardboard all day with this over this. This does have a little bit slicier of a blade than this does, but with just the size and what force I can put behind it, I can do more longer with the Manix 2. Alright, so next is carry. And I actually gave carry to the Manix 2 as well. I know this is a little more narrow, but kind of how the clip sets off a little bit and it leaves this much sticking out. This actually sits in your pocket a little bit better. Not as much sticks out up top. See if I can find my little pant pocket. So it's been a while, I'm all unprepared. Alright, so we'll do the PM2 first. And it does leave a good bit sticking out of the pocket. Some don't mind. I really don't mind. This a little wider knife, and it does take up a little, just a little more pocket, but not much, just due to the way that the pocket clip sits on this opposed to this. So it's not much more, and this one just actually rides a little bit better in the pocket. But like you see how it's in the middle on this, then offset to this, because Spyderco thinks that they need these just godly massive lanyard holes. And I'm a lanyard guy, so if I'm talking about that lanyard hole doesn't need to be that big and in the way, then you know there's an issue. So yeah, so carry I gave to the Manix, and toughness is the final one I also gave to the Manix as well. It's just an overall beefier knife. It doesn't have as narrow of a tip as the Paramilitary 2 does. And if you have them both in hand, you can just tell which one's a little beefier and it's going to hold up just a little bit better. You got, you know, a little more liner on the Manix than you do on the PM2. They're both pretty tough knives, but I think the Manix just edged it out, and I think it's just due to its beefiness that kind of made it a little tougher than the PM2. Alright guys, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, you know, and if you have some counterpoints to me, throw them at me. Help me build this series. I think it would be something really cool that I can include you guys into and help me kind of do something a little different on the channel. Why not make my first video, since I've been gone for a while, just a little bit different? Alright guys, this is Justin from Blue Collar Survival. Thank you guys for everything. You guys be safe.